Life has a way of surprising you when you least expect it. 3 years ago, I thought I had everything figured out, a loving marriage, beautiful child, and what seemed like a perfect life. But one autumn afternoon changed everything I believed in. My wife and I met at a coffee shop near the university where she worked in administration. We started dating soon after, and within 18 months, we were married. Some people, including my friend Kai, said we rushed into it, but when or at least that's what I thought back then. Before we got married, my wife was passionate about fitness and attended regular Pilates classes. I always supported her interests and hobbies. After all, staying healthy is important. She would go to her evening classes 3 times a week, sometimes more if there were special workshops. Our first year of marriage was wonderful. We both worked hard at our jobs, managed our finances well, and even helped our families when needed. When she told me she was pregnant, I was overjoyed. Growing up without my mother around, I had always dreamed of having my own complete family. Our son became the center of our world, and I worked 2 jobs to ensure he had everything he needed. That fateful afternoon, I was home alone on my day off while my wife took our son grocery shopping. I decided to look through our family photos on our shared tablet, something I enjoyed doing when I had free time. I loved seeing how our son had grown from a tiny baby to an energetic toddler. While browsing through the photos, I noticed that my wife's cloud storage was connected to the tablet. Thinking I might find some old photos from our dating days, I clicked through to her gallery. What I found instead made my stomach drop. There were inappropriate photos that I had never seen before, which was strange because my wife had never been comfortable sharing such pictures, even when we were dating. My mind started racing with questions, but I tried to push away the doubts. Still, something didn't feel right. I dug deeper and found messages synced from her phone. The exchanges between her and her Pilates instructor painted a clear picture. They had been seeing each other for almost a year, starting shortly after our son was born. That evening, when she came home, I acted normal. We had dinner as a family, played with our son, and went about our usual routine. But after she fell asleep, I carefully checked her phone and found more evidence. Apparently, their relationship had been going on right under my nose, while she continued being the perfect wife and mother as if nothing was wrong. I knew I needed time to think and plan my next steps. For the next few days, I gathered evidence, taking screenshots and collecting information. I sent copies to the fitness center where she attended classes. The instructor was suspended, and my wife suddenly stopped going to her classes, making excuses about being too busy. I didn't stop there. I made sure her book club friends, especially this one woman she never got along with, found out about her betrayal. Soon, her social circle began to crumble. She kept making excuses about why she couldn't attend her usual activities, and I pretended to believe every word. Before confronting her, I had one more thing to check. Even though I loved my son more than anything, the situation made me wonder about everything. I quietly arranged for a paternity test, which confirmed what I hoped. He was definitely mine. That gave me some peace of mind in the middle of this chaos. After watching her make excuses for a few more weeks, I couldn't take the pretense anymore. One evening, after putting our son to bed, I told her I knew about her relationship with the Pilates instructor. Her reaction told me everything. First came denial, then panic, and finally the tears. She claimed it was all a misunderstanding and swore she would never cheat on me. I found it almost funny how she could lie so convincingly while looking straight into my eyes. When I showed her the evidence, she changed tactics. She became angry, accused me of spying on her, and said I was destroying our family over gossip and rumors. I stayed calm and told her she needed to leave. That night, she packed some clothes and went to stay with her sister. The next few months were tough. I hired a lawyer who specialized in family cases. My friend Kai helped me document everything, the evidence of her affair, my work history showing how I supported our family, and proof that I was the primary caregiver for our son since I worked from home 3 days a week. During the divorce proceedings, she tried to paint me as controlling and paranoid. But the evidence was clear, and her recent behavior had already damaged her credibility with many people who could have supported her claims. My lawyer did an excellent job presenting our case. What surprised me most during this time was how many people came forward with things they had noticed but never mentioned. A neighbor had seen her car parked at unusual places during her supposed class times. A mutual friend had spotted her having lunch with her instructor months ago, but didn't want to create problems by mentioning it. The court proceedings moved faster than I expected. Given all the evidence in my stable work situation, I was granted primary custody of our son. She got supervised visitation rights, which seemed fair since I never wanted to keep him from his mother completely. Telling our families was another challenge. Her parents were devastated. They had always been proud of their daughter and couldn't understand how she could do this. My family, particularly my aunt who raised me, rallied around us and helped with childcare when I needed to work or attend court meetings. The hardest part wasn't the legal battle or even the betrayal. It was watching my son's confusion when his mother moved out. He was too young to understand what was happening, but old enough to know something had changed. I did my best to maintain his routine and ensure he felt secure and loved. One afternoon, about 3 months after she moved out, I was cleaning our home office and found an old anniversary card she had given me just 2 months before I discovered her affair. The message inside talked about our perfect life together and plans for our future. Reading those words, knowing what she was doing at the time she wrote them, made me realize just how skilled she was at living a double life. It's been 3 years since everything fell apart. Our divorce was finalized quickly, and I've adjusted to being a single dad. My son is doing well. He's starting school soon and growing into a happy, energetic kid. My ex-wife sees him twice a month under supervision, which works for everyone involved. The fitness center where she used to take classes eventually closed down. I heard through mutual friends that the instructor moved to another city after the scandal. My ex-wife had to find a new job too. Apparently, word had spread in her workplace, and though no one said anything directly, the atmosphere became uncomfortable for her. Sometimes I wonder if I went too far with exposing everything. But then I remember how easily she lied to my face, how she would kiss our son goodnight and then message him while I was sleeping next to her. The betrayal wasn't just about the affair. It was about how she risked our family's happiness for something so meaningless. Last month, I ran into one of her old book club friends at the grocery store. She told me my ex-wife had moved to her parents' town and was trying to start fresh. Part of me hopes she learns from this experience before getting into another relationship. Not because I care about her happiness anymore, but because nobody deserves to go through what I did. Kai still checks on us regularly. He's been a solid friend through everything, helping me with home repairs and sometimes watching my son when I need to work late. He recently told me I should start dating again, but I'm not ready. My focus is on raising my son and building our life together. The other day, while helping my son clean his room, we found an old family photo album. He asked questions about his mother, and I kept my answers simple and honest. I never speak badly about her in front of him to make his own judgments when he's older. Right now, he just needs to know that both his parents love him, even if we can't live together anymore. I've learned a lot from this experience. Trust is precious, but it shouldn't be blind. The red flags were probably there, but I was too caught up in our supposedly perfect life to notice them. These days, I keep our family photos in digital albums on my personal cloud account. The tablet that started this whole discovery sits in a drawer somewhere. I couldn't bring myself to use it anymore. My aunt says I've become stronger through all this, and maybe she's right. I work 1 job now instead of 2, spending more quality time with my son. We have our routines, homework, playtime, weekend trips to the park. It's a simpler life than what I had planned with my ex-wife, but it's honest and real. People often ask if I regret exposing the affair the way I did. I don't. Some might say revenge never helps, but in my case, it did. It showed everyone who she really was, not the perfect wife and mother she pretended to be. More importantly, it helped me get custody of my son, which is all that really matters now. Looking back, I realized that what hurt most wasn't losing her. It was losing the future I thought we had. But now I have a different future to look forward to, one that's built on truth rather than lies. My son and I are doing fine on our own, making new memories and building a life that might not be perfect, but it's ours. I still believe in love and marriage, just with more wisdom now. When my son asks why some of his friends have 2 parents at home and he doesn't, I tell him that sometimes grown-ups make choices that change everything. What matters is how we deal with those changes and move forward. The pain isn't as sharp anymore. Life has a way of healing things if you give it time. These days, I focus on the good things, my son's laughter, our weekend adventures, the peace of knowing I'm living honestly. Sometimes the best revenge isn't about destroying someone else's life. It's about rebuilding your own stronger than before. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this story, please hit that subscribe button to help us reach our goal of 1,000 subscribers. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up and share it with friends or family who might enjoy it too. Your support means a lot. And if you have any thoughts, questions, or story ideas, drop them in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. See you in the next story.